Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's TYRIANA and we're back again with another video. As you seen by today's title, we is finna get into the tea all about tarot and this, that, and the third. We finna talk about what is tarot history, how did I find tarot, also how did I learn tarot, and things to know when you are, tapping into divination practices and things that in the third. So yeah, if you're interested in a video like that, then carry on watching this video. So what is tarot? Tarot is pretty much a divination tool that you can use to gain insight and clarity over your current situations, right? And the history of tarot pretty much is it originated in the 1400s. It started as card games. They was playing like card games, like how they be playing Pity Pat Girl. So that's what it is reminding me of. Let me stop. So that's what it was giving me back in the 1400s. And then in the 1600s, that's when they started to use it as a divination tool, and that's when they started to practice it in practice it as a divination tool. That's when they started to put all the meanings on there, like they have the high priestess on there that symbolize like somebody who is not afraid to go in the dark to do the work or whatever they need to do, so that's like stuff like that, like when they started to make the certain symbolizations and things on the card. And then in the 1800s is when they started to use it in seances in the wealthy families and stuff like that. So what I'm about to get into next is how did I find tarot. So one day I was freaking in Five and Below, girl, and I was shopping stuff for my apartment at the time. This was like back in 2021, I believe. Yeah, 20 and 21, and I was in Five and Below, and I had seen this because I'm a book reader, so I like to read books. I don't know what it is. I like to read books. I like to listen to a lot of music. I like to like feed my mind a lot of things. I feel like that's actually a value to me. So that's just me. I would say I would claim myself as an intellectual person. Anyways, let me stop, girl. So I was in Five and Below one day, and I seen this book. It says tarot on it, and it was like connect to your intuition. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, connect to your intuition. I'm like, how can I connect to my intuition through a book? Like, what is they talking about? So, I ain't know nothing. Like, I ain't know nothing about no tarot, none of this. So I was in there shopping or whatever. I got the book, went home, and I was reading the book, and I'm like, oh, you're supposed to have some cards. I didn't think I was supposed to have some cards, girl. So I ended up buying my first deck. Didn't know what I was doing, girl. So I ended up throwing it away. So I was like, okay, I don't know, but it was my first deck or whatever. But I didn't really like the deck because it didn't really have like it wasn't the Rider Waite deck. It didn't have the certain symbolizations and things on there that I feel like beginners do need when they started to read tarot. If you wanted to start to read tarot, I would recommend like an oracle card and some oracle cards and the standard basic Rider's Waite deck. That's what I would learn. That's what I learned in the ending of this process or whatever for this book, girl. So I just kept reading the book or whatever, and I was just reading the book and just like learning the meanings and all this other stuff. I'm like, dang, this is some real energy stuff. Like, this is so real. I'm like, girl, I remember some time when somebody peed me with this energy. Like, I was, because I'm an empath. So I claim myself to be an empath, girl. So I could feel people vibes. Like, I could feel stuff. So long story short, I ended up, I don't know why this story ended up. Long story short, so I ended up, ended up moving before, I ended up moving, but at the end of like while I was transitioning in my move or whatever, I did pick up another deck of cards, and I did try to start reading or whatever because it was giving me facts. So I was like, okay, because I knew I wasn't tripping. Because at first, like, I started reading, but I didn't know the meanings of the card, right? But I just knew, like, my intuition, like, I heard my little not my little voice, but I heard my inner voice, and it was always telling me. But I'm like, how do I know the meanings of these cards, and I don't even know, like, So I was just like, okay. But I had realized that's when you pick up cards and you read intuitively instead of reading off of what the book meaning and the book says and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm more of the intuitive. Like, I go off what my intuition is telling me. Like, I'm more of that type of person. But I would say also another thing I wanted to say. So like, it was like a couple months or whatever, as I was like researching what was tarot and all the history and everything. I was trying to research like more about what this is. Like, you know, it was crazy because I literally asked, I feel like I manifested that. We ain't gonna lie, but we ain't gonna say, that's a story for another day right now. But I feel like I also wanted to say yeah, so after I moved or whatever, I ended up finding me a mentor who had like belief systems as me, because I'm a Christian or whatever, and like Christians, they are against like some Christians are against divination tools and this, that, and the third, because they feel like it's against God and all this other stuff. So I'm not with that, and I'm not with the sin talk either. So I'm not with the, I'm sorry, not sorry, but I'm not with the whole, oh, I'm not with all of that, you know. So I found me I had found me, what's it called, a spiritual mentor. Her name is Patrick Queen Pixie. I'm gonna go ahead and link her app right here, so you guys can go ahead and subscribe to her and tell her that I sent y'all. So also, I wanted to say, she also helped me learn like my own personal routine when it came to tarot, and a lot more things that I didn't know about tarot and all this other stuff. So it was a lot more information that I didn't know, based off like I added more what I knew from my personal experience and also from her experience. But I also felt like based on my background and being Christian and everything, I was Christian since I was like a little girl. I was always in Bible study. I was in Bible study school since I was a little girl. As I grew older, like in middle school and high school or whatever, I think that's when because my parents wasn't really strict, like going to the church and this and that, so it wasn't like really I feel like I would only go to a church if I'm called to go to church, because some of these churches around in the area that I'm currently in, it's not really giving me good vibes, and I'm not finna let them play with my spirit, because no. That's all I had to say, because there is some things like I see in churches, I'm just like, I'm not about to like, no, I'm not about to sit here, because I'm the type of person, I'll speak up. I don't care. I'm with the truth, and that's what it is. I'm not with the I see BS when it's BS, and that's what it is. So that's what it is about that. So I feel like me and her pretty much like aligned to each other's like belief systems and things like that. So that really was a blessing in a disguise, girl. I didn't even know. But yeah, so that was like how did I learn tarot and everything like that. So yeah, and things to know when getting to doing divination. I would say do things that are called for you. Don't be dibbling and dabbling in this stuff because, oh, you see somebody else doing this and that. Like, is that really called for you? What is your intention behind what is you doing things? What is your intention behind why are you connecting to these divination practices? I will also say some of these divination practices, you can I would say be careful when picking up certain divination practices, because you can what's it called, conjure up some demons, girl, or conjure up some bad energy or some bad things and like that. I'm not out here to scare you or try to put fear in you, but it's just to be more of, be responsible of what you doing and this and that. So make sure your intention is always good. It's always you know, this, that, and the third. But I would say some of these practices, I feel like anything that could be used for good also can be used for bad. So just know that as well. But I also would say, I'm not finna do no Ouija boards, none of that, because that's just no. I'm okay with my crystals and my tarot cards. That's just it. I mean, now, like, I can hear my inner voice, like, she be going crazy, but like, she be telling me right then and there, like, don't play with her. But that's how I be like that's how I be in my head, when people be thinking they could try to miss me with the okie doke on things. But speaking facts. Let me stop, girl. Let me stop. Okay, I also wanted to say, when getting into, when finding you a mentor, make sure that this person has the same belief systems that you. Make sure that this person is very trustworthy. And I just feel like, I was called to read tarot cards and everything like that when I had read that book, girl. Once I read that book, I was like, okay, this is me right here, because I always love philosophy, and I always love like just to see like it's a lot of things, but what's it called? I wanted to see how I can make my Christianity walk and spirituality tied together and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what it was. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment below on how did you find tarot, or what was your overall experience in this video, or yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.